The Jason Rigdon Show is recorded in Seattle, Washington in front of a live studio audience of indifferent but cute cats. You can support this podcast by giving us a rating and review on iTunes, sharing this episode on social media, or just by telling a friend about the show. You can also support the show financially on Patreon. Just visit patreon.com/Jason Rigdon.
All right. Hi, my name is Patrick. I got a podcast down there. I run a podcast in Sumner. It's called the Tribalbrand Rebranded. It's been going for about a year and a half now, and it's been a hoot.
So how many episodes have you produced so far?
I've produced 67 episodes. So it's really, and they're only like a total of 30 hours. So it's not much, really.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, that's actually a lot.
Is it really? I don't know how to gauge it and everything, but it's I've had like almost 3,000 downloads, and I had a really good jump for a minute. For like a couple months it was just climbing, and then it just flatlined the last couple months. So it's a lot of, I don't invest enough time, I don't think, to really work on content. I just rant, and it's probably not a very good format, and it's not for everybody for sure. But it was the Tribalbrand podcast, but I changed it to Rebranded because I kind of moved away from what I originally started out as, and it was talking more about tribal stuff and history of American Indians, as I'm Elwha and Colville. So I started out with history of that, and talked about some of them missing women, American Indian women who are missing, some of the tribal members out here in society who've been killed by the police. I talked a little bit about that. So I moved a little bit away from that and got more political and ranting about our administration, which I know I rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I have my opinions, and we all do, and it's been a tough time for me. I have my opinions about everything, so I can see both sides on a lot of different things, and then there's just some sides I just can't see the other side. It just doesn't make any sense for me. So and so I know I rub people the wrong way.
We can't make everybody happy,
No, we can't, and we have to be able to express ourselves. And that's one, my podcast is more of a therapy for me sometimes, just venting, getting stuff off my chest and talking about my history a little bit of, how I grew up and my history a little bit. So, and if I really feel like ranting, I can rant about just whatever, how angry I get with this administration we have right now. And I could see, all the protests, and then you had all the rioting, man. That was just ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous how, my wife's African American. She doesn't like to be called African American because she's American, damn it. So so she just gets pissed looking at all the looting and all the violence. It just, for her, it's just and for myself, it just doesn't make any sense. I understand you're mad. We can all be angry and upset, but burning things down and stealing and looting and stuff, it just, man, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's really a tough time right now with so much stuff going on with, the protests and the rioting and the virus. How has 2020 affected you personally?
Personally, I started doing all the shopping for the longest time, and then my wife discovered online shopping. So that's kind of made it a little bit easier. But in the beginning, I was doing all the shopping every week. I got laid off for only 5 weeks. So I was blessed. Me and mine have been blessed in that way. I've been staying busy since like the middle of March, the end of March. Yeah. So I'm a superintendent. I work for a builder out in Seattle, and I've been blessed, been able to stay busy. So I feel bad for a lot of other people. My daughter gets to work from home. So, we've been blessed in our house. I know a lot of people are just struggling. I don't even know how, I don't know. I don't think I'd probably be homeless, to be honest with you, if I lost my job for a long period of time. and I can see I can see how people could be desperate and how people could be angry. But at the same time, that violence and killing and stuff just doesn't make any sense to me. But I haven't been affected too badly. I got tested a couple weeks ago, and I'm all good. But that's a funny virus. It's a funny thing. I could catch it this afternoon. And at our office, they're all like, "You got to get tested before you come in." And so you go in and you get tested, and you go in, and by the time you go in a week later, you could have it. So it's tricky. But yeah, we've been blessed.
Yeah, we're recording this on October 2nd, and I believe last night the president announced that he and his wife had tested positive.
Yep. And I was like, I mean, is it a hoax? It could be a political move, I think, because he's capable of it. He's absolutely capable of it. But I hope not. And if he has it, I don't wish any bad things for him. But man, the ignorance and the whole thing is just, I mean, what did you expect, right? What do you expect? And it just blows my mind that, and then you got the followers that I think maybe they're going to start believing now. I mean, if he's got it, then maybe they'll believe. I don't know. I wear a mask all the time. I have to wear a mask for work. I wear a mask to go to the store. We all have to, and it's not that difficult to do. And but in my thinking, my wife is even thinking the same way. What if he's just doing this, saying he has it, and then they come out with a vaccination or whatever, and all of a sudden he's cured, and now he's the hero. And
yeah, I mean, he's a compulsive liar. He just lies just continuously, and about the weirdest stuff too,
dude. The stuff that doesn't matter. He's a sociopath.
Yeah.
The debate was a debacle, and I was embarrassed.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting there with my wife, and I was embarrassed to be watching it and trying to absorb it and trying to make sense of what the fuck is he doing. And people defended that, and they're like, no, he's so grandiose and delusional. He's like, I had the greatest, I won the debate, I win. Why would I want to change anything? I win. It's like, man. And if he has COVID, he's not going to be able to lie his way out of that, right? Or I'm sure he'll try. When he lied to the public saying that, it's not that big of a deal. And then in his interview, he says to dude, it flies through the air. You catch it. It's deadly. And going to play it down. Man, the dude shouldn't be running this country. He shouldn't have been running it from day one. And these people that are just, I made a comment last night on LinkedIn. Somebody, an African-American guy, said that how much he loves his president, the greatest police, and it's, the greatest country in the world. And I responded a little bit negatively. I should have been a little more correct. But man, the people that, we do have a great country. I struggle with the history of this country, being American Indian. I struggle with it, but I still have, I love it, and I have to be able to find the good in it, right? Because it's a great country. But right now, it's embarrassing to be an American citizen. The world is laughing. And, how are we going to recover? How long is it going to take to recover? And then we have Biden. Is that the best we can do? I mean, he's the best. I'm not going to vote for Trump. I'm going to put it to you that way. But man, as the United States of America, is that the best we can do? Can't we find somebody who's in their 40s, 50s, even early 60s?
Yeah.
That's more cognizant and more into what's, man, we're not living in the 60s anymore. And when he's up there stuttering, I'm like, dude, where's your game at? Trump, he's going to come firing. He's going to insult as much as he can and will, and as much as you allow him to. And the dude that was running the show, Wallace, he had absolutely no control. Absolutely none. I kind of felt bad for him, but at the same time, can't you shut him off? Can't you just shut him down for, and take a break and say, look, man, well, he tried, but, it was just a horrible thing.
Well, I mean, one thing I thought he could have done was just walk out. Like, there's a couple of points where you could see him getting, like, kind of steamed, and it's like, just walk out and be like, I'm taking a 5-minute break, and I'm going to be back.
Do something to put that fire out. But it was just embarrassing, the insults and the ignorance and stupidity. I felt bad for Biden a little bit, but at the same time, like, dude, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, one of the frustrating things that I've been hearing a lot of people talk about is like, well, that people don't realize that the way Trump talks is how working people talk.
Yeah.
And it's such a elitist attitude. That is not how working people talk. Sure, there are some assholes, but that's not the way real people talk. Like, and if that's somebody that's on your team or a coworker, he's the asshole. He's the guy you don't like and you don't want to talk to.
I work with the guy that does that. You can't finish a sentence because he's answering your stuff, or he's, whatever. And it's like, I don't care for the guy. But yeah, it's not the way it is. And the working class is not like that, and these people that are such big time followers and what is that? QAnon? What's that all about?
Oh yeah.
And then Trump's up there. Oh yeah, they like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they like me, so that's a good thing, right? I'm like, what?
Well, like the white supremacist stuff where he refused to denounce the white supremacists. And it's like, how hard is it? How hard is
and then he comes back the next day or two and does, but it's too late. Because that's, it's too late. It's too late for me. When he was elected in, my wife and I were in shock. I couldn't believe it. But then we're like, well, we have to at least give him a chance, right? We got to try to at least listen to him because that's our president. And we gave it like a couple months, and it was just like the same old rhetoric and the same old crap. And everybody else, he's the smartest guy in the room, but a lot of times he doesn't even know he's the only fucking guy in the room, right? He's just that's the only way he's the smartest guy in the room, but you can't tell him that. He believes, and his niece who wrote that book, I want to read the book because she knows him better than whatever, and she's man, I got to give her the credit for that, for writing that shit. Willing to tell the truth, because people need to really know what this guy's made of. And I saw on Twitter just yesterday where there's a country boy up there talking about how we're going to go to war and shit. They're saying that if Biden wins, they're coming at us, right? And he's got no problem saying it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And then he says, and if Trump wins, then all the Democrats are going to act up, and so they're going to have to take care of that. So either way, I have a little bit of fear for this election. I do. I'm a brown guy walking around the city. Who knows? You just don't know.
Yeah.
So I fear for my wife too. I fear for the next 4 years if he's elected, man. It's this democracy, whatever you want to call it. It could fall, and the Mitch, what's his name? Mitch, the
McConnell?
politician, Mitch.
Yeah, McConnell.
Yeah, McConnell.
Yeah.
The chubby dude, the old chubby dude that's been in there since 1760. Yeah, Turtle Man. Yeah, and then you got the other guy. They're just Lindsay, and they're all Lindsay's begging for he's begging for money because he's probably not going to make it, which is a good thing. We have to change. They have to change this shit. They're all dinosaurs, man. I was born in 1961. I'll be 60 next year, and I've seen a lot of changes. And this is the worst administration ever. We've had a lot of bad presidents. We've had horrible presidents. Andrew Jackson and Abe Lincoln. Yeah, he did his thing freeing the blacks, but he also hung like 37 American Indians in Minnesota, right? So in my opinion, he's just the worst president of modern times. And if we don't vote and get him out of there, we're in a real pile of shit. That's just my opinion, of course. But
yeah, it seems, you're talking about history, we're starting to kind of have some discussions about America's relationship with African Americans. Like, do you think we're ever going to get to that point where we actually have an honest discussion about the country's relationship with Native Americans?
Oh, yeah. Well, see, the thing about American Indians is they got us on the reservation, and all my relations live on the reservation. And there's not many of us that are out here in the world, so they're still forgotten. They're like, they're in the back room there, and I recognize an American Indian as soon as I see him, as soon as I do, and I don't see very many. And I live right down by the Puyallup tribe. I live between the Puyallup tribe and the Muckleshoot, and I hardly ever see an American Indian. And the truth is there, but it needs to be taught in school. I talked about it in one of my podcasts when I was a junior in high school. The history teachers talking about American Indians and how it wasn't possible for them to make an arrow because the branches on the trees were crooked and shit. How could you make them straight? And I'm like, what? So I start chiming in like, what are you talking about, man? And I got into trouble. And he was like, if you don't shut up, I'm going to put your head through that wall. That's how it was in the 70s, right? And nowadays he would probably be fired or whatever. But yeah, the American Indians, the history, the truth will never be told, I don't believe, not by the government. The government still wants to wash that, but some of the tribes are getting it back with their casinos, right?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. My tribe is real small over the peninsula, and they got a little tiny casino. That'll never be anything like the Muckleshoot or the Puyallup, but yeah, I like to tell some truths about the American Indians on my podcast. I just need to get more focused, and I've never taken any courses or anything like that. And some buddies are like, "Hey, man, you should write a script." I'm like, "A script? I don't know if I could even go off a script. Maybe I could. I don't know."
But you offer like kind of like an everyman kind of vernacular of just talking from the heart, where sometimes people that are they're the expert and it's very sanitized or very dry. It's not very listenable.
Oh yeah, that's true. And those are the ones they don't grab my attention. It's like I listen to Bill Burr. I've tried to find yours. The latest one you have?
Yeah, the Jason Rigdon show. Is that the one? That's the one. That one's that one's just starting out. We'll see. That's what we're doing right now. We'll see how it goes. I've been getting some good downloads already without any advertising, because I suppose
I tried to look it up on where's
should
it
be
at?
everywhere now, but it's still new. It takes a little while for it to propagate.
Oh, okay.
And then so.
Oh yeah, okay. So you just lit it up.
Yeah, because I was doing
that's good.
Talk to Seattle for I think almost 2 years. And then I was like, well, I want to do something maybe that's not entirely locally focused. And I was like, well, why don't I just do a show that's just like with my name, and it's just like the people that I think are interesting and having the conversations that I want to have, and just see, does anybody want to listen to that?
Yeah, for sure. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'd like to even do, every once in a while do an interview with you, because this is good for me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just having like the conversations.
What was your, I could talk to guys at work about it. I work with some guys that will show up. I don't work with them, but they're like a vendor, and they'll show up with a MAGA hat on.
Oh yeah.
And it takes every bit of my strength to say, dude, but I have to understand that it's okay for everybody to express themselves like that. I don't have to be a dick about it, although I'd like to be. It's just, I just can't believe it.
It feels a little passive aggressive, doesn't it? Though, like they know it's going to make people upset.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Like they're waiting for you to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something.
Because a lot of these guys, it seems like they're just waiting for their chance to snap and do something. Like, and that's, one, like we were talking about the guy talking about revolution or whatever. It seems like a lot of our fellow citizens want to kill each other.
Yeah.
Like they really relish it.
Yeah. They're just waiting for the opportunity. I was just talking the other day to a buddy of mine at work, and you know how you know, there's just people out there waiting to just start shooting, you know? And with all these protests going on, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, where somebody just shows up with an automatic, you know, rifle and just starts fucking murdering people. Because they're out there. They're just waiting.
Yeah.
You know, the Proud Boys.
Well, we've had those people who, you know, run people over with their cars.
Yeah.
You know?
Insane.
Yeah. And
the kid down in Kenosha.
Yeah. And they raised like thousands of dollars for his defense fund, and he quite clearly is guilty, right? Like, he crossed state lines. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then you got the Trumpster up there. I like to call him Don John. You remember that movie Don John? Like a porno movie or something. Yeah. Dude just loved his porno. Yeah. Anyway, he's up there. Yeah, he was running for his life though, you know, and he was scared. You know, he might have got killed. I'm like, yeah, he might have. Yeah, but he'd already shot somebody. Yeah. That's why they were fucking chasing him.
How dare you chase me after I shot someone?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of fantasies out there. I mean, some of these people have like so many guns. Like, I'm not anti-gun, but there is that certain personality where they have like maybe too many guns. Like, maybe you're too into this.
Yes. Like the Terminator, right? The last Terminator. He opens up the doors and there's fucking guns everywhere. Yeah, buddy of mine, he's got a whole shit ton of guns. Like, dude, what do you need all those guns for? And he competes in these sporting events where they run and shoot and shit. But I'm like, dude, you still don't need 10,000 rounds for that, do you really? You know?
Yeah.
And some of them are just waiting for that. And I can kind of see. I was telling my wife, maybe we should get a handgun or something. I don't have an aversion to having guns to protect yourself, you know. And she's worried about it, and I'm not so worried about it. I think that right now it's a time to at least exercise that right, you know?
Yeah, because, I mean, we don't know what's happening next year.
Because
who knows? Yeah. I keep on wanting to tell people that, you know, it's going to get better. But, you know, I can't honestly really do that anymore. Like even if Trump loses, will his followers accept it?
It's going to be a shit show after the election. It's going to be a shit show one way or another. You know, they say Biden's in the lead, but they also said Hillary was in the lead, you know? I just think that there's going to be a lot of shit going on after the election, one way or the other. Man, it's scary times right now. All these protests.
Yeah, even if he was to, I don't wish this, but I'm just, if he was to die from this virus, they'll believe that he was assassinated. Yeah. Like, they're not going to ever, they live in a whole parallel universe.
Yes, they do. And there's no change in it. But I can kind of understand. I mean, brainwashed, right? People have been brainwashed forever. And it only takes a few people to start believing in that shit. They're like sheep, just like, you know, they're calling the people who are wearing masks sheep, but they're sheep too. You know, I'm wearing a mask to save my ass and maybe save somebody else's ass. You know, I'm not wearing a sheep to be a sheep, but I got guys at work saying, man, I think it's all fake. It's a hoax. I'm like, dude, people are dying from not necessarily from COVID itself, but the shit that it does to the body. You know, the weak people, the fucking unhealthy people. And if Trump dies from this shit, then who are we going to have? Pence for a little while? What's going to happen? But you're right. People are going to think that he was assassinated. My wife even said, well, maybe he's just going to fake his death and disappear. Well, fuck, that could happen too. Who knows? I don't think he could fake his death and disappear. He's Don John, man. Everybody knows him. Yeah.
Well, I always said that, you know, if he thought he was really going to lose his reelection, that he would possibly say he had some kind of health problem, then he had to bow out. That way he wouldn't lose.
Yeah, that's one thing too. Because, he'll never consider himself a loser. Ever. Even though he is.
Yeah, because I fully expect if he keeps on running, like I mentioned, I have no reason to believe that he's going to drop out or anything. But that he will probably just declare victory on election night, no matter what the results are.
Like I said, he thinks he's the smartest man in the room. He doesn't believe in science. He doesn't believe that the people that have been telling him that we've been mailing him in forever. And there's always going to be a very small percentage of shit that gets, screwed up. But, if somebody inadvertently throws a couple envelopes in the garbage or whatever, they get lost. That's just the way it was, and that's the way it is. But we're not talking about, hundreds of thousands of votes getting just thrown in the river, or used for ass wipe or whatever. And people just don't. He just doesn't believe. I mean, he's sitting there telling the global, all the fires and shit. Oh, you just got to scrape the forest floor and sweep it. I'm like, come on, really? You're talking about 400 million acres, okay? So stupid. And people are telling him, no, that's not the way we got to, it's going to cool down. Trust me, it's going to cool down. And the dude says it's about science. He goes, yeah, I don't think they're right. Yeah, scientists are wrong.
The millions and millions of acres.
Oh, that is, dude, yeah. Yeah, and he's so delusional, too. Paid millions in taxes. How can you pay $750 in taxes?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you do that? And then with a conscience, you're saying, well, no, I paid millions. No, you didn't. You paid $750,000. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I just can't believe it. I've never liked Trump, even in the 80s, dude.
Yeah.
I've been around quite a while, and he's got a history. And in this, this 70s and 80s, he's a real turd over there in New York and shit. And he's got to have mob connections.
Oh yeah.
He's got to have.
Oh yeah.
How much does he owe to Putin and those guys? He's desperate, and that's where a lot of his anger comes from. He's desperate. He's scared, and his family should be scared too. His boys and his daughter. And come on, man, I want to see him. I don't want to see him die from COVID. I want to see him handcuffed and walked out of the fucking White House.
Yeah, face the consequences.
In handcuffs.
Because rich people never go to jail.
Yes.
Like that's what we want to see. Is we want to see at least one of these rich guys actually go to jail for their crimes.
Yeah. Yes. It's corruption and lying to the people of this country while people are just dying. And now there's more that are dying. It's gonna start going up again. And what did he expect? What do they expect? You're running around with no mask on, and they're telling you right to your face. Oh man, it's just the stupidity and the ignorance and the just fucking. It's really just it's pretty sickening, really.
The thing that I saw, I think today that was pretty amusing was that a bunch of people have been asking or saying that the Biden campaign should suspend the campaign while Trump is in quarantine out of fairness.
Oh, fuck that! Come on, man. Oh my God, what are they? What are they going to come up with next? Really? I mean, he's got a whole team of people, and the Republican Party. I don't understand that nobody's got any nuts, man. No balls, no anything.
Yeah,
it's a pathetic show of.
It's almost like he's got stuff on them.
He has to have. Why would you fear a man so much? Yeah, he's the president, but he's still just a man. He's not. I mean, everybody gets fired. That's what they're worried they're going to get fired or whatever. But the politicians can't get fired. They can only just be, not reelected.
Yeah. Oh, they've got all these guys who, he's like insulted their wives, and now they kiss his ass. And it's like, if you insult somebody's wife, that's kind of crossing a line for most guys.
Dude, I'd punch him in the face. I don't care if he's president or not. You have to defend your wife. If I didn't defend my wife, she would kick my ass. Okay? I would fear her more than any of that bullshit. Because I mean, that's the way you should defend your wife. If you're such a big pussy, you're not going to defend your wife, then you don't have any ability to be running this country. The politicians run it. Trump, he's the boss, man. Yeah, he's the boss. But if my boss insulted me or my wife, it would be on. And yeah, I'll lose my job or whatever. But at least I defended what I should defend. you have to defend your wife, man. You know, you just have to.
Yeah. I think Ted Cruz thought that he was going to get a Supreme Court seat, and then he was like,
that goat.
Of course, he got swindled. You know, that's what.
Come
Trump
on, man.
does.
At least fucking trim your beard up, right? Trim your beard up, dude. Comb your hair. Fuck. You're a politician, man.
Yeah.
You're not going down to weld somebody's fucking car together. You're a fucking politician, and those guys. Oh, I had a podcast about Hannity and Trump when they had that one fucking interview, and they're just licking each other's butt and kissing each other and how fucking great you are and shit. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But it's like a train wreck. You can't fucking look away. So I'm blaming myself, like, God, what are you doing? Oh, when I was laid off and they were having every day they would have the fucking what do they fucking call it, where they're talking about the virus and shit.
Oh yeah, those coronavirus
press conference or whatever. Yeah. Every day, and I was watching it every day, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I got to get back to work, man. And when he said that we should inject ourselves, we could inject ourselves with shit, and I heard him say it. My wife wasn't there. I couldn't ask her, did I fucking hear what I thought I heard him say? Yeah. And then he's talking about how it was I was just being sarcastic.
Whatever.
Word, man. We all know sarcasm, all right? We've been around long enough.
Yeah, and we've all known that dude who says something dumb, and he's like, oh, that was sarcastic. That was just sarcastic. It's like, no, it wasn't, man. Come on.
Come on, dude. Shit. Yeah, he's this fucking a trip, man. I hope he doesn't die, but fuck. Look at his wife. Now his wife's caught it. Now this is what's going to make me more suspicious is if just that one woman, Hope Hicks, and Trump and his wife are those the only three that catch it out of all them people that got in that helicopter and have been hanging around each other, then I'm really going to be suspicious, you know, because he was around a lot of people. They said he wasn't feeling well, and he was still around a lot of people, so who knows? I just think that it might be, there's a possibility that it's a hoax. I hope not, because I think if he played that card, he might get a lot of fucking votes. And especially he says, I got the vaccine and I'm all good now. People would really fucking love him.
Oh, yeah, the magic vaccine. That's always 2 weeks away.
Oh, God. I'm the hero. I have saved the world. We're rounding the corner. Fuck off.
Well.
Oh, my God. Hey, man, this has been fun.
Yeah, we're just about out of time. Could you tell people where they can find your show?
Oh, you can find my show, the Tribalbrand, rebranded on all podcast apps, all of them. Spotify. Just go to the apps on your iPhone. You'll find me.
Yeah. Just type it in, search for it, and I also have links in the show notes too. So you just click that link and then subscribe.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. If you ever want to do it again, just email me. We'll do it again. Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Okay, bye.
You've been listening to The Jason Rigdon Show. More information and links for our guests are in the show notes. For more information about this show, visit jasonrigdon.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, email jasonrigdon@gmail.com or leave a voicemail at 425-835-2766. Our theme music is Bush Week by Nihilor and used under the Creative Commons Attribution License. This episode is copyrighted by Jason Rigdon in 2020 and is freely available under the Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike license. Thanks for listening and have a great day.